Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. How have you guys been? For those of you that don't know, my name is Tiffany Oreka, and I'm a Nigerian based in Ghana YouTuber, and it's been a minute since we dropped content here. So today's discussion is one that is very sensitive, and for the longest time I procrastinated talking about it, but someone actually prompted me that, oh, why wouldn't you talk about this in your channel? Like, use your channel for a platform to actually educate people on what's really happening, you understand, pertaining to the rape culture or what has been happening recently in Nigeria. So in case of those people that are really not in tuned, because I know like I have a lot of Ghanaian subscribers, so some of you might not really know what has been happening in Nigeria concerning rape. So I'm going to read directly from an article so that I don't misquote anything. So I don't know if you guys have been hearing about the justice for Tina, justice for Uwa. Some of you don't even know the story behind it, but I'm here to tell you today, and we'll just talk about it briefly, you know, give our 2 cents. So Tina, the first girl, she was 16 years old, and a police officer shot her for no reason. She was rushed to the hospital and she died some days later. That's Tina. Uwa was 22 years old, microbiology student, University of Benin, and she went to study in a church, and she was brutally raped. Yes, you heard me right. She went to church and she was raped there and murdered. I want to talk about these 2 girls before before we dive into like current news that's like, you know, happening. Sorry. So basically, there was also a story about a 9-year-old girl that was raped with about 4 men or something like that. I can't really find that story, so I won't really talk about that, but I'm sure we're used to hearing stories like that every day. You see something about, okay, first of all, someone like Tina went to study in a church and she was raped. A lot of people come out and say, oh, maybe you're in a dark corner, that's why you got raped. Maybe because of what you're wearing, that's why you got raped. Maybe because of the scene you were at, that's why you got raped. The people you were with, that's why you got raped. I want to tell a lot of you today that there is no excuse for a woman being raped. If you come and give excuses why a woman was raped, then you're probably a serial rapist. Like look in your mind, you are someone that can commit rape. Yes, because when this thing arose, people were so dumbfounded. A lot of people did not talk about it because they were like, in a church. Number one, like to the rapist, like I'm not even pointing any fingers, because people were saying, is it the pastor, is this? I don't know who it was, and I'm not even going to dive into that, but I want to really educate a lot of you today that it does not really matter what she was wearing. It does not really matter where she was. It does not really matter who she was with. For you to actually look at a woman and defile her, violate her as a person, there's really no excuse for that. Like, okay, now those people that used to say you were outside late, that's why this happened to you, what do you have to say for a girl that went to church to go and study, that got brutally raped, beaten and murdered? What do you have to say to that? These are things that you should ask yourself, like, what do you have to say to that? So okay, moving on from this story, I'm just giving you a brief overview of what happened. A lot of celebrities started coming out saying justice for Uwa, justice for Tina, say no to rape, say no to rape, say no to rape. A popular Nigerian or international sensation. Sorry, it's early hours and I'm just quickly trying to vlog this before I leave. So a popular Nigerian artist called the band International Sensation. A lot of you know the band, Coco Master. Yes, he was also part of those celebrities that said, oh, justice for Uwa, justice for this, say no to rape, blah blah blah, this and that. Sorry. He was part of the people that came out to say justice for that. So prior to that, there was a certain guy that called D'banj out. He claimed that D'banj had raped his friend 2 years ago, which was December 30th. So he wrote a long episode. He spoke about how D'banj had violated his friend, how the girl had been keeping quiet, this and that. So through social media, a lot of people started saying, why is she just talking? Which is another thing I'll talk about coming out. I'll talk about that towards the end of this video. So I want to tell you guys what has been currently happening. So according to her statement, I'm reading from her statement, she claims 30th of December 2018, D'banj gained access into my hotel room at past midnight while I was asleep. He violated and raped me. Apparently, this girl went for a party hosted by D'banj's personal assistant or something like that, one of that story. D'banj saw her and liked her, but she didn't like him. So that certain friend was one that lodged her into a hotel room where she stayed. So obviously, if he was one that lodged her into that hotel room, obviously I'm sure if D'banj walked into that hotel and said he wanted access to maybe room 202, they would give it to him because it's D'banj and because it was his ally or someone that lodged that girl into the hotel. You know how people are. Exactly. So he gained access into her room and violated her and raped her. On June 3rd, 2020, following the online post D'banj made about saying no to rape, she called him out and gave a detailed description of what happened in December 2018. Now Twitter reacted, Instagram reacted, all that stuff. 5th of June 2020, she publicly shared a document from her lawyers regarding the situation. 6th of June 2020, she visited the police station to make a formal report. For those of you that don't really know, a rape case is valid, or any case I think is valid for at least 10 years. Do you understand? Maybe after 10 years, you know. So it's valid for, I think, whoever is a lawyer should correct me. I think I heard something like that. It's valid for 10 years, so it doesn't really matter. At least this happened 2 years ago, so she can still go to the police station and make like a report that this happened to her. Moving on. 15th of June 2020, D'banj, through his legal representative, published a document in response to her lawyer's document demanding 100 million naira for damages. 16th of June 2020, four armed policemen stormed into her apartment and arrested her without any warrant. They actually posed to be delivery people, so that's how they gained quick access into her house. They seized her phones and other personal effects and detained her in the police station overnight. 16th of June 2020, she says a friend reached out to a journalist who had been in contact with her earlier on to raise the alarm that neither her lawyers or anybody could reach her. She claims her mom was in contacted to inform what was going on. 17th of June 2020, with various efforts, she was released from custody from being made to sign a gag order by the police and D'banj and his team, and she could only post on social media what had been approved by D'banj's team. So yes, D'banj and his team forced her to make statements. I don't know if you people were on Instagram or I mean on Twitter that day where there were tweets coming from her account and people were like, a lot of ladies were worried and saying, this cannot be Shaitan, that's her name Shaitan, this cannot be from her, this, that. So people were really confused. Like someone that came out to say someone raped her, next thing she's coming out to like say he didn't. So people were confused. She said she spent the night at a location of D'banj's team choosing, which was not made known to the public. Moving on, 18th of June 2020, I want to quote her. I was isolated from my family, pressured and intimidated in person by D'banj and his team to retract all statements and to announce that my testimony was a publicity stunt. Thanks to my friend, thanks to the executive director of Stand to End Rape Initiative and other activists who swung into action and tracked me to a location where I was being held by D'banj and his team using satellite mapping. I was immediately removed from the environment and taken to a safe place where I was provided with immediate support. Moving on, Since 18th June 2020, the band through his team has continued to harass me with calls and boasting that the band can buy off anyone within the justice system in Lagos. She claims, "I would like to thank everybody that has." Okay. So this statement was published yesterday, and there's a whole lot. I'll probably put the link in my description box. You know, a lot has just been happening. Women get violated every day, every single day. Like, sometimes because you're a celebrity or a politician or a powerful person, you have connection, if you can do anything. And I'm going to tell you what is rape today. As a man watching this is the bitter truth. Just listen. Number one, if you were chatting with a girl and she agreed that she was going to get down with you, and she got to your house and she told you she was not in the mood again, and one thing led to another, you had your way with her, you raped her, you violated her, yes, you're a rapist. If you sleep with a woman under the influence of alcohol, you have violated her, you're a rapist. If you sleep with a woman when she's intoxicated with drugs or something, you have violated her, she's a rapist. If you touch a woman in an inappropriate way, you have violated her. Yes, it doesn't always have to be penetration. You have violated her. You have symptoms, you have signs, you have the instincts of a rapist. You are a rapist. See, rape is in different kind of form. Maybe a lot of you guys don't know that you do certain things that women don't like. Yes, husbands still rape their wives. If a woman tells you, "I am not in the mood," but you still find your way to get into her, you still find your way to get your way with her, you have violated her. You are a rapist. If you're someone that says, "Oh, what were you doing there at that time of the night? Why were you there?" You are a rapist, because I don't know how you be trying to defend a situation of why it happened or why someone did that. If you give excuses for people who rape people, you are a rapist. If you come and start saying men also get raped too, you have the instincts of being a rapist. Trust me, this is personal because I am a woman. I have a mother. I have sisters are not from different mothers. I have cousins. I have little ones. Also recently, I think 2 days ago, there was a case of a man, a grown-ass idiot, that's like probably in his 20s, who raped and killed his niece that was about 5 or 6 years old. He raped her. Those pedophiles, let's not even talk about the pedophiles right now, because all of you are just still rapists. We need to stand our ground as women. I don't know how hard it would be to get pepper spray. You don't even need to buy the actual pepper spray. Get a small spray bottle, put grounded pepper and water. If anybody tries to try anything with you, do not, I repeat, do not be scared to use that spray bottle on them. Women, we actually have to learn how to defend ourselves. Because prior to what happened of them going to church to rape somebody, I now really know that rape can occur anywhere. So I'm not going to tell you try to avoid being here, but I'm also going to tell you, if sometimes you don't feel safe going to a guy's house, go with a friend, because anything can happen. That crush that's inviting you for dinner can rape you. And when he rapes you, you know how society is. You know how it is in Africa, especially. Africa jokes with the rape culture. Like, they don't really care. Like, you know, they can bail you out for some small money. Do you understand? So most times, let us try. A lot of girls leave school to go and meet these celebrities in their hotel rooms, chill with them. Some of them now get violated. I'm not saying that you should not chill, but sometimes before you go somewhere, know that, oh, why am I going here? Why am I going to hang out with my guy and his guys? A man that respects you would hang out with you alone. He will not invite you to a room where his guys are. Like, in fact, the cases have been so alarming. Like, people have been coming out every other day to say this person raped her, this person did this, and it is just so sad. And I also want to say this before I go. If you are a woman and you wrongly accuse a man of rape, only God will judge you. Guys, it is just so sad what is happening in Nigeria, especially very sad. I don't know how rape is in Ghana. I don't know how the cases are treated, but in Nigeria it is just sad. You bribe your way everything. Africa, let us not rest till we, try to help a sister, talk to somebody, because any woman you know probably has a friend who has been raped or violated in one way or the other. Talk to your sisters, talk to your mother, talk to your friends, talk to them. And as a man, know when to stop. When she says no, I'm not in the mood, just stop. When you see she's high or she's drunk, don't touch her. Even if she tells you, don't, because at that point she's not herself. Don't. Okay? Yeah. So anyways, guys, this is me signing out. I just really wanted to talk about this briefly before I left for work. Now the burden has been lifted off my shoulder, and yeah. So see you in the next video. Bye.